you admire. You wanna go places where you get too tired. We want the truth about what's been going on. So we chitter chatter gossip on our telephones. When our time is running out, we ain't got forever. Everybody wants a piece of lifelong pleasure. Oh, did you have headlines? Read all about it. Headlines, headlines. It's in the streets. Headlines, headlines, headlines.
Yep, that is what we are going to be bringing to your ears actually from now till the hours of 8. That one was Midnight Star. Yes, we are taking papers from everyone that you know that is in your country. Okay, so I want you to just sit back, relax. If you're doing some school runs, great. If you're jogging, awesome. If you're still at home or you're on way to work, great. Just turn up the volume to the, to the one that is really perfect for your ears. And it's going to be the newspaper review pretty soon.
Read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it. We got the beat and we gonna shout it. We got the beat and we gonna shout it.
Mwah! This is your everyday companion.
Everyday companion.
High Impact 102.1 FM. Mwah!
Are you still sleeping? Wake up!
It's time for the Morning Impact Show. Weekdays, 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on High Impact 102.1 FM.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Good morning again, citizens. My name is Toluwase Akumi, and you are welcome to the segment where we take you through the papers one after the other. Okay, so for the next 1 hour, you can watch us live on our YouTube channel. Just go to High Impact 1021 FM, and then you can also contribute by calling the number 0704 425 2109. Again, that is 0704 425 2109. You can also send a WhatsApp message or text message to 0907 224 5018. That is 0907 224 5018. Your opinions, your voices matter, and that is all what we are going to be talking about from now to the hours of 8 o'clock. We start off with the Vanguard newspaper today, being Thursday, the 8th of May, and it reads right here on the front page, terrorist superior weapons. We took a little bit of this during the news in 650. Federal government faults representatives, differs with Senate over security summit. There are a couple of riders to this one. Equip local volunteers to confront Boko Haram. Ndume tells federal government, military. Police recover large cage of ammunition in Jos. Says unpredictable tactics helping terrorists. Federal government adopts new strategy in war against terrorism. This is by the NSA. And then lastly, we have urges media to deny terrorists, bandits publicly. This one is on page 5. We've been talking about insecurity for a very long time, but now it's looking like this particular group now has more ammunitions than the military and even the personnel that are supposed to be in charge of taking care of us. That one, like I said, you can find on page 5 for more details. Above the nameplate, Very Dark Man, that is VDM, regains freedom after 5 days in EFCC detention. He has been in their custody, and then finally he has a bit of freedom, and we can see. We'll just, keep our fingers crossed, and let's see. Probably he's going to say one or two things from everything that has been happening to him. This one is on page 7 if you want to get more details. And next page, we find defections. One party state lead to anarchy. One party state will lead to anarchy. This one was said by Jonathan. We also move where Governor Alia alleges plot to destabilize Benue, remove him from office. I'll take that again. Governor Alia alleges plot to destabilize Benue, remove him from office. This one is on page 13. Afrexim Bank to fund African Energy Bank with $19 billion. This one is by Luke Bubiri. This you can find on page 20. More stories on the Vanguard though. Silence as a silent killer. Silence as a silent killer. How stigma hampers mental health struggles. How stigma hampers mental health struggles. Pages 14 and 15. When someone is if one finds out that someone is associated with something, there is a way that people around you or the society might look at you, and then from them you're stigmatized. And a lot of people may not know this, but all of this affects mental health, so if you're silent, if silence, maybe someone is trying to keep you quiet over something, trust me, the more you keep quiet, you are definitely hurting yourself. We have your local councils. Wards must transform to centers of inclusive development. Local councils, wards must transform to centers of inclusive development. This one is by Bagudu. This you can find on page 8. On page 9, Labour Party moves against Abure, sets up disciplinary panel. The writer here says, as Abure's faction suspends OT, Kingibe, others. That is what it says here. Then on the sports section, Egypt 2025. Flying Eagles reach quarterfinals after 2-2 draw with Kenya. We're going to get more bits about this during Sports in a Jiffy. Egypt 2025 Flying Eagles reach quarterfinals after 2-2 draw with Kenya. And that is what it's saying on the sports section. And yep, this is all we have for the Vanguard newspaper. If you're just tuning in, you are welcome. This is the Morning Impact Show, and we are in the newspaper review segment where we are taking papers one after the other, telling you what is happening in your community and even in Nigeria and the world at large. If you want to participate, you can call 0704 425 2109. And if you want to send a text message or a WhatsApp message, that is 20907 224 5018. Move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. One party state dangerous for Nigeria. This is according to Jonathan. One party state dangerous for Nigeria. That is what it is saying here. We have more stories here. Below the nameplate, Labour Party suspends Abia government. Kingibe for others. I'll take that again. Labour Party suspends Abia Governor Kingibe, 4 others. You can find this one on page 12. Still on Daily Trust. IGP sets up special police unit for elite protection. IGP sets up special police units for elite protection. This huge story you can find for on page 38. Quite interesting, and I think we are definitely still going to look at that one. Besides it, Flying Eagles reach AFCON quarter-finals. This is so interesting. So let's just see how all of this is going to be panning out. Flying Eagles reach AFCON quarter-finals. This you can find on page 39. Insecurity, Minister, National Assembly differ. Insecurity, Minister, National Assembly differ. This on page 4. We have more here underneath. Apprentice impregnates boss's daughter, 9 others in 5 months. What? Apprentice impregnates boss's daughter, 9 others in 5 months. Oh, wow. Okay, this one is on page 21, and definitely we are... I think we'll talk about it just a little bit because this is just interesting. Senate retained 7.5% VAT. OK's tax appeal tribunal. Senate retained 7.5% VAT. OK's tax appeal tribunal. This one you can find on page 10. And then beside it, soldiers, insurgents die in battle over Borno community. Soldiers, insurgents die in battle over Borno community. This one is on page 28 if you want to find out more details. Lots of interesting stories. Of course, we will come back and look at them one after the other. So yes, we have taken 2 papers and then we will definitely take 2 more. But right now, let us go on a short break, and then when we're back, we'll find out more on what the country is telling us. Stay tuned.
I know, and I love you too. This is why I've made it so that you can now have me everywhere you go. www.highimpactstudios.com. Press play. Links in our social media bio. Click at High Impact 1021 FM. Or you can just go the regular way. Turn on your radio and tune in to 102.1 FM.
We love you at High Impact Radio. Mwah!
See, there is no separating us now.
Are you looking for an avenue to blast your brand? Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Got You Covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, 0902 745 3931, or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.
Venue on the Sea. A perfect and top-notch location for your special social and corporate occasions. Here at High Impact Cruise, we handle your events with elegance while providing you with outstanding service. An amazing experience you will never forget. For more inquiries, call 0815-181-9580, 0818-824-5734, or visit www.highimpactcruise.com. High Impact Cruise, dream, discover, explore.
Hello there.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM, 24 minutes past 7 this beautiful Thursday morning. And yes, we've looked at two papers already, talking about the Vanguard newspaper and the Daily Trust for today. But remember, you can always be a part of this conversation for you to share insight about things going on in your community, things going on in the country, or basically, just to give your own 2 cents or 2 kobo, as the case may be, when it has to do with the things happening in Nigeria and, of course, across the world. You can do that if you call us up on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time, 0704 425 2109. You can also do so if you reach us via WhatsApp or your regular text message on 0907 224 5018. 0907 224 5018. We're streaming live on YouTube at Impact 102.1 FM. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification button so you can know whenever we are live right here in the studio. So we move to the Guardian newspaper this morning, and the Guardian newspaper is leading with the big story, and it says tax reform advances as Senate debates clauses retains VAT at 7.5%. Tax reforms advances as Senate debates clauses retains VAT at 7.5%. You find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, and it is the biggest story for everyone in Nigeria, because we do know since early this year, if I'm not mistaken, the tax reform bill has been a debate. We've had governors, everybody in the polity were talking about the tax reform bills, and 4 particular bills were supposed to be looked at, and at the end of the day, only 2 was assented to for consideration for now, as the case may be, and that one has to do with the Nigerian Revenue Services Bill and also the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill. Those were the 2 bills that were assented to yesterday. But for the layman, what's key to know when it comes to these particular tax bills is the fact that for VAT, there won't be an increase. We know VAT was increased to 7.5% in this administration, and there was suspicion that there were going to be further increase of value-added tax, and well, it's not going to be happening according to the Senate, at least according to what they signed yesterday. And one other thing which is really, really vital in terms of VAT now is the distribution of VAT, which was one of the major reasons why there was, a bit of chaos and all of that. The distribution, and there is a formula. For state governments, equality has 50%, population takes about 20%, place of consumption takes about 30%, local government 70%, equality 30%. And so now, you have to understand that when it comes to VAT now, and some particular products, where they are being taken. Let's use beverages, for example, and what kind. I'm talking about the alcoholic beverages now. For most of them, it means 30% goes to wherever it's taken. If we're talking about food now, if this particular vicinity is where more VAT comes because they consume more of this, you get 30% of this. So the VAT distribution is one that most people were trying to find out how it was going to be. So definitely that has been ascended to, and now people know. We also know about the funding for NASENI and TET Fund. It has been retained. The Senate also recommended the continuous financing of, TET Fund. That is, they shouldn't stop. And, they should also have all this from NITSDA, which is the Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency. And all this, they'll be funded from development levies and all of that. So there were so many things that were recommended. Also, the reforming of tax collection, whereby there is a tax tribunal now, tax appeal tribunal, which will be established. And so different things will be going on. It will be funded by the budget yearly, so it won't have to depend on the FIRS for, and it gives them some sort of freedom It gives them some sort of, not having to depend on anybody. They just have to do their job because they have direct funding from the federal government. So now, or you're answering just do your work. So so much for it from the tax bill, and we know that they might still discuss more because the other two bills we're hearing, they want to legislate, push it to further public hearing, many other things that will go on, but that went on and it's finally done. The tax reform, 2 out of 4 clicked, and so let's see how people react to that later on. Let's see if all those things will help make Nigeria a better place. But I think majorly on every Nigerian's lips will be, will there be a return of investment after we pay our tax? You're talking tax this, tax that, establishment bill. Yeah, we'll see all of these things being done. Yeah. But after all this and our taxes are collected,
are we going to see?
Is it going to reflect in the things, in the development, in the infrastructural development? Is it going to reflect in the social development of the country? Or is it just going to be another means to siphon wealth? Anyways, moving on. On the Guardian newspaper, we see probe detects pilot ever indicts company in Wigwe's helicopter crash. Probe detects pilot ever indicts company in Wigwe's helicopter's crash. We remember the Wigwe family that died in the helicopter crash. The probe going on has detected that there were errors from the pilot, and so we'll see. That means it's not coming to an end anytime soon. Probably there'll be court cases.
There's been a lot going around with the whole situation and the family.
Yeah, a whole lot. So I guess more to come. FG to fast track cash transfers to 15 million households. You find that story on page 4. FG to fast track cash transfers to 15 million households. And yearly, I think many people complain about this. And why do people complain about this? It feels like there's no transparency. So when you say, okay, you want to send money to 15 million households, where is the
do you have the correct database to be able to do all of this?
Where's the database to even know this 15 million are actually the poor of the poorest people? Do we have a database? Even those 15 million households that, transfers, you want to do cash transfers to them. Where are the 15 million households? Which one of them? Where is...
Exactly, which one?
Which one? How do you determine those that need it the most? There are people in so-called urban communities who are living in tatters because they can't even survive. They're living maybe in shanties in those developments. Are they not the poorest of the poor too? How do you get to them? So who knows how authentic will it be? So it's important we do away. Many experts have always said it's not necessary.
Has it ever worked?
Has it ever worked?
Happened?
You get to see a few testimonies that maybe one or two persons get to receive a lot here and there, but what's the continuity? Who's to say apart from continuity? It's not even about continuity now. Is it not better to take this money and actually invest more into making things right in the economy so that these people can fend for themselves?
Create a working system. Okay, 50 million households. How much are you going to give them?
How much can get to them? How much monthly?
We can't say 1 million because that would be like 15 people. So
15 million households, 1 million.
It don't make any sense.
You're talking about over...
So... No,
more than 15 million.
Yes,
so don't calculate like that.
Weird.
It's a whole lot more than that. So and you're talking about trillions of naira, if that's what you want to spend in a million naira. That's trillions of naira. So it makes no sense. Build a system that works. Let everybody fend for themselves. Yes, you go to even foreign nations whereby their citizens depends on stipends being given to them by the government and all of that, but you get to realize those ones are on a database. They know them. They know factually that you do not have a job, you can't get a job. Probably you have some sort of disability and all of that. And yes, they give them money. but it's a system that already works. You need to build a system that works. But if you keep just shoving cash like this, how much will you give to them? How long will they use it? Will it escape them from poverty? No, it has never proven to escape anyone from poverty. So let there be a working system. When a system works and the people can go into that system and fend for themselves, that is the only way you can get these people out of poverty. Sharing cash gifts has never worked. It's no different from sharing rice.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It's no different from sharing rice. Let the system work. Let the economy work. Make Nigeria a friendlier place to do business. Let things work for the better. Let fuel come down. Let the refineries work. Let's have modular refineries here and there. Let the NNPCL be a competitor to Dangote and other refineries. Let's do the basics and stop acting like it's rocket science. We all know the basics. We all know the truth. But every single day we keep trying to, move through different paths to get to a destination that we know the path that we can go through just to get to that destination. But we keep trying to go through bushes, going to here and there, making excuses for ourselves. And at the end of the day, years keep going by and the same thing keep happening. Nigeria not getting better. That's the same thing that keeps happening. Administration after administration after administration. Nigeria has not gone from one administration to the next administration and say things got better. So we need to start working on making Nigeria better administration after administration. Not making things worse. Adeshina compared Nigeria to 64 years ago and said we are worse than we were 64 years ago. The presidency, the spokesman Bayo Onanuga saying it's wrong, that we shouldn't compare that with our GDP and this and now. But do we feel better than we were 64 years ago? Do we even feel better than we were 15 years ago? Moving on. Court admits tapes of Kanu ordering Tinubu Wike's death, burning of FG property. You find that story on page 7. This has to do with the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra in court over terrorism charges. Underneath that one, 500 aspirant jostle for 57 council chairmanship seats in Lagos. You find that story on page 5. 500 aspirants for 57 council chairmanship seats in Lagos. Politics is now the go-to career of everyone.
Wow.
It used to be something else. It used to be different careers. It used to be people wanting to be doctors, people wanting to be lawyers, people want to.
That's a lot.
People
That's a lot of a number for
people wanting to be journalists.
Mm-hmm.
So many jobs that everybody wanted to be. But now, what do people want to be? What do people really want to be? Until we make politics, less money friendly and more of a work thingy, where there are consequences of actions, where there are laws that make sure that politicians are in line. We won't get the right people to come do what they're meant to do. You're talking about 500 aspirants. And no jokes about all of this. I live in my own community where I see this politics too. And I know how many persons, just for my particular ward, has come, soliciting for support. This is just even for your primaries. You've not even won your primaries yet.
Oh, goodness.
And you're seeing so many people. I've seen some that I grew up with that had other dreams. Yes, obviously. Not one, not two, not three, which I know had other dreams. But now it just has to be politics.
So what would one say is it because politics is looking very interesting, or is looking so green, or it's just because of the way the country is situated?
Well, both ways. It's green, and because of the way the country is situated. Because it's green because many people just go in, see it as a cash cow, take as much as they want, come outside. And the way the country is, because once they come outside, it seems nothing happens at the end of the day. So, who wouldn't want to go to politics when you think you can go in there, commit a crime, come out
go
justified and
scot-free.
you go scot free. It makes it sad. So you ask yourself, what's the way forward? When the mindset of people who are coming there, most of the people who are coming there, is only a means of making and going away. Because you see how much they spend, how they try to please people who will favor them. This one goes to meet this big wig in the neighborhood. When it comes to politics, even if it's not a big wig in the national, at least in the neighborhood, is a big wig in the politics. You see this one go to give him gifts, this other person comes to give him gifts. Everybody trying to win everyone's heart, spending so much money. So when they go in there, what exactly are they supposed to do? The investments they made, how will they recoup? If they had intentions of going there to work for the people, they won't have tried to convince people by spending money to get in there. It's because they know that if I spend, and those people who are trying to recommend them understands that when you spend and give me money and I recommend you, you have so much to take from when you get there. So it already feels like politics is a cash cow. The Nigerian politics, that is, a cash cow for people to just come in, do whatever they like, make money, and go. Look at our politicians. How many of them drive the most expensive cars in the world? Go check out their garages. You can't compare the garages of the Nigerian politicians with first world countries. Countries like the United States of America, Britain, China, Russia. I don't think there's any of these countries I mentioned that their politicians are actually richer than any Nigerian politician sitting in government today. I don't think. But yet, Nigeria is tagged one of the poorest countries in the world. A third world country. A third world country with rich politicians. Moving on. Lagos BOI Sterling Bank pool 10 billion naira to empower businesses, create 10,000 jobs. That's the we find on page 5. Eyes on conclave for new pope. This one you see on page 2. The pope is dead. The cardinals are gathered in the conclave, and everybody awaits a white smoke. Because when you see a white smoke coming out from the conclave, you know there is a new pope. 2027, LP imperiled by counter sanctions, defections, infighting. That's the view you find on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Just underneath the nameplate of the Guardian, military kills over 13,000 terrorists, rescues 10,000 hostages in 2 years. Page 4 is where that story is. Those numbers are scary. We have disbursed 54 billion naira to 303 schools, 293,000 students, says NEL Fund. Can we see data? Data. Sometimes you just don't have to talk about it. Just release the data and let data speak for itself. Beside that one, and finally, on the Guardian newspaper this morning, Ganduje ready to welcome Kwakwanso as defections hit NNPP. You find the story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper, and as usual, 2027 is all the politicians are thinking about. And that's the much for the Guardian.
Lastly, we take the Punch newspaper and we start with this. Rising insecurity. Federal government orders new strategy amid fresh attacks in Borno, Benue. Federal government orders new strategy amid fresh attacks in Borno, Benue. This one on page 2. The writer here says, Army Captain Benue APC chieftain, others killed as terrorists wreak havoc on both sides. Army Captain Benue APC chieftain, others killed as terrorists wreak havoc on both states. It's quite how will I put it? It's quite mind-boggling because I feel like if something is not working, then you find another way, and if it's still not working, probably seek help. But it's just the same thing over and over and over again, and the next morning you just see in the papers this and this killed, this and this, fresh attacks it's quite it's quite disturbing, to be honest. It's quite disturbing.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It makes you wonder. So many thoughts will be in your head. You go over everyday Nigerians, you speak to Nigerians as a journalist, and you ask of their opinions and the things they tell you. It's the same. They are scared. You go to the east and you ask an average Nigerian if he can move freely from here to one state and the other, and he says no. You go to the west, the same thing. You go to the north, the same thing. Everywhere. But not to change the fact that yes, many people still do it, but how many have that confidence? How many have been lost who tried to do it? How many persons would have to drop numbers after numbers and say, oh, please keep your phone on in case, please, and all of that? It never used to be like that.
True.
And so insecurity seems to have worsened over the years. It's not only terrorism nowadays. We're talking about, people being killed in their farms. We're talking about communities being chased out completely.
And it's just causing... And after that, it affects the economy because, of course, things are going to be more expensive. People cannot get the food that they've stored or probably stolen or something and all of that.
What about kidnapping? There are different parts of insecurity you can pinpoint out now just to show how things have gotten worse over the years.
Yeah, it's quite sad.
And it's not alarming when you say Nigerians say they're scared. Because it is scary, and you expect that your security agency will be on top of it, and that's what you want them to do. And so when you see strategy after strategy after strategy and it's not working, then you ask yourself the gruesome question: maybe it's those who are implementing the strategy who do not have the capacity to actually do the job. Questions needs to be asked.
Yeah.
Answers needs to be demanded.
True. So we are on the Punch newspaper. That particular one is on page 2 if you want to get more details. Beneath, we also have, pictures of, cardinals resuming voting today after inconclusive first ballot. We are waiting who's going to be the next pope. So that
and
is
it could take so long. It could take so long. It reminded me of a movie I watched back then. I think it has to do with the pope. That took sometimes it could take as much as weeks. They try to show into the political side of all of this because it is deep.
And at the end of the day, the person stays there for a very long time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you want someone who is going to be do the work and have
for everybody,
grit
to
for
do
a
the
long
job.
time.
Yeah, for a very long time, health-wise, all this.
Sure.
And so, if the Pope is not, if there's no conclusive answer, you get to see a black smoke. You're like, oh, no answer tonight. All of you go to bed. Then when you see the white smoke, then there's joy in the Vatican City. So I think the Catholic nation, the Catholic world is looking forward to that, and Christians, at least to a great extent.
Yep. And this one is on page 27. If you want to know how it is going. Yeah, it's on page 27. Underneath, Power Minister opposes construction of 4,800 megawatt nuclear plants. This one you can find on page 21. VDM released after 5 days in EFCC custody. We took that earlier in the first papers. You can find more details on pages 4. Local government poll. Lagos APC pushes for consensus candidates in 57 councils. I'll take that again. Local government poll. Lagos APC pushes for consensus candidates in 57 councils. This one is on page 12. Beside the nameplate, U.S. helicopter firm indicted in Wigwe's death. U.S. helicopter firm indicted in Wigwe's death. And above the nameplate, Senate passes 2 tax bills, rejects 10% VAT. That's on page 14. Labour Party crisis. Abure probe begins. Kingibe, others suspended. That one on page 7. And then finally on page 14, Benue governor alleges removal plot as Speaker's Conference tackles National Assembly. Yep, that is all we have on the Punch newspaper. Any story that piques your interest?
Obviously, it has to be the last story which you spoke about. 2 days ago, I think we were talking about this, yes? Talking about the rejection of the governor of Benue State and Nasarawa State, I think, not, answering the call of the House of Representatives, as well as their own state House of Representatives were called. And they said that this was an overreach by, the federal system. They are overreaching their powers. And I think all this is stemming from what happened in Rivers State. And so now you're seeing the governor saying, okay, alleging that there's a possibility. And you ask yourself, what does this give birth to? And it's why we talk about precedents. It's why we talk about how the actions in Rivers State can lead to so many things down the years to come. Because it gives precedence to so many things that could happen. So now, when you see a sitting governor, elected sitting governor, being scared or alleging, as the case may be, that he might be removed, what does that tell you? How does that, as a Nigerian, how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel like you are in a democracy? Does that make you feel confident in the electionary system? Does that make you feel confident in the democracy, which you feel is the government for the people, by the people, and for the people, like it said, to be where the people's choice can just be
Tossed away. Like nothing.
As the case may be. Or suspended. Let's use the word that. Suspended. So it gives a very, very negative vibe, and that is what the governor of Benue State is trying to allege at the moment. And we know so many things is going on in Benue State, which deserves to be looked into. But ask yourself, is the Benue State government really, really the ones in power to actually secure the people of Benue State? Yes, the governors are the chief security officers of the state. But is the governor in control of the police? Is the governor in control of the army?
So many questions.
So these are federal parastatals that are supposed to keep the peace of the people. The governor is not going to, even the highest he could do, maybe probably get a security network of his own, give them a few hunters gun or something, the whole cock and shoot, because there's a level of weapons which you can actually hand over to security people. Would that be enough to help security in Benue State? You and I know that's not going to be enough.
No. It needs to be something bigger, something that can sort it out from the source.
So you ask yourself, is it really the fault of the Benue State government in terms of securing the lives and properties of Benue State? Yes, he has all his role he's going to play. He's the chief security officer. He's going to be in communication with the commissioner of police. He's going to do all of those roles. But is he really in control of them? Can he really control them to do what he needs to get done? And this is why many call for state police. Because they feel, okay, you as the chief security officer of your state, if you have your police are supposed to be under your control. And even if not like completely, whereby they have to bend to your whims and laws, which most people are scared of, because they feel like the Nigerian way, the Nigerian thing in us, whereby we want to show authority all of the time. They feel like if there's state police now, the governors will become Alpha and Omega, and somewhat the oppositions in each state will have nothing to do. But that is one disadvantage, which we know definitely might or will happen. But let's use might because we've not seen the future. But what about the other advantages to it? What about the other advantages? Why are we not looking at those advantages to it? Why are we just solely focused on the disadvantage? How many times will you use that? Maybe in elections? Maybe. And who's to say that the police the state police and the people in charge of the state police won't be people who will want to be true to their job and follow the law to the latter. Why are we concluding? Yes, it might happen. But let's not forget where there are pros, there are cons. Where there are cons, there are pros. So the only big picture everyone has brought about against state police is just this one. What about the advantages it has? Can't we look into those ones too? Nigeria with over 200 million people. With the police, how many? I don't think we have up to 2 million police strong. I don't even think we have up to 1 million. I don't want to give data I'm not certain of now. The military, how many? Can they really secure over 200 million people strong? Can they really? And if you say yes, they really, really can do so. Look at the insecurity in the country so far.
Every single day.
Would you beat your hand on your chest and say, yes, they have their hands still on deck in doing the job as it's meant to be done? Maybe they need a bit more help. Maybe they need more people into the system. Maybe each state needs its own security so as they know their people, know how it's done, know how to organize their state and make sure their state is intact.
Right. Different places with different ways that they can help.
Maybe we just need a different touch just to tackle this issue. Or maybe this is something that can be tackled and probably the political will is the only thing that's stopping it. Because remember, no matter how insecure the country is, there must be a way, a must to fight this insecurity. And the budget must be released. So who knows? There are many factors to why things happen in the country. And as a Nigerian who has lived in Nigeria in over all these years, you should know, you should check every angle to every situation because it might not just be the angle you think it's coming from.
Right. Interesting. Well, that is it, folks. Like, lots of stories have been happening. There was even one that I actually saw from the Daily Trust. It got
the baby,
my attention.
the pregnant.
Oh,
I knew you were going to talk about that.
Not even that one. I saw this IGP sets up special police unit for elite protection. And
for what?
For elite protection. That's on Daily Trust newspaper on page 38. And I was like, okay. Quite interesting. To be honest, to me, the story was actually quite interesting. But yeah, about baby and that other one,
no, it's really, really funny.
Where is that story?
I think it was comedic the moment I heard it. It's on Daily Trust. Apprentice impregnates boss's daughter.
9 others
in 5 months. It was really, really funny. And it just goes to show that sometimes a little distraction is what takes you away from the path towards where you are meant to be. And also for...
You call this little?
Well, a little distraction.
Okay.
The little distraction is the actions he does. He has other path in life. He's just an apprentice. He has so many things. Maybe he's going to be there for maybe about 5-8 years, or maybe he just have one more year before he will be settled and all that stuff. So he's got distracted with women and all of that.
It is well.
And also, not all that glitters is gold, because maybe some of these persons who fell into his whole, enticement and all of that maybe thought maybe he's the boss, he has everything.
Oh wow.
Some of
I'm just actually just looking at the numbers. I mean, 9 people in
5 months, man. You must be a baller, man.
Very strong baller. Very, very strong baller.
But these things happen. And anyways, I wish he and the rest good luck, and hopefully the 10 babies or twins or thereabout is about to be a father of a big nation. So I wish him good luck and hopefully success in whatever he does.
Amen. And that is how we are closing the curtains for today on the newspaper review for Throwback Thursday. Tomorrow is another edition, Friday edition, which is always very excited about that one.
Yeah, I am. So I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who opened your ears to us this morning. We will be back, like she said, for a Friday edition. But before then, make sure you enjoy High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, as we'll still be here to make sure your morning is pleasant. My name is Uche Okori. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful day.
Exactly. And then we will continue from the hours of 8 to 9 to 12. It's Throwback Thursday, so just get ready to have your ears, I don't want to say blocked, but serenaded with lots of really good music that are old but very gold. My name is Toluwase Akiomi. Do take care.
Hello there.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
It's been raining mediocre. Repetition. Boring. But this frequency modulation, 102.1 FM, has opened multiple umbrellas to shield you from it all. Step under the umbrella of the Morning Impact Show and explore a world of morning information, metro stories, newspaper review, sports in a jiffy, conversations of the day, and games. Move over to the umbrella of the Hey Midday Show and get familiar with the FFO Canteen, the Game Room, social media trends, movie box, and volumes up.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way
under my umbrella.
Or you can slide under the umbrella of Just Before Dark and the Drop Down and acquaint yourself with new music on Ville, Sports Hub, Techville, Auto Hub, Airplay 10, and so much more. On weekends, we've still got you covered.
Under my umbrella.
The Wavy Weekend, Saturday OK Show, The Rave, The Weekend Wind Down, The Gospel Effect Show, and Sunday Underway. High Impact 102.1 FM will take you to the highest heights with the hottest hits, the juiciest information, and accurate news. With this frequency modulation, it's a whole new vibe. Your ears are perfectly safe on our airwaves.
Under my umbrella.